The ground in Yellowstone National Park has started to rise. An area larger than the city of Chicago is swelling. Scientists are talking about a deformation that they haven't observed in years. Sounds kind of worrying? Does this increase the likelihood of an eruption of the dreaded supervolcano?
Stay tuned to find out what's really going on and whether we should be worried. A warm welcome, everyone.
Yellowstone National Park is legendary, not only because of its hot springs, grizzly bears, and spectacular geysers, but also because of a threat lurking deep beneath the Earth's surface, the Yellowstone supervolcano.
Sometimes he lets a spark of his power be felt. This happened in the year 2024. A sudden, violent hydrothermal geyser explosion in Biscuit Basin had terrified the tourists.
Thankfully, no one was injured. Write me a comment about what you thought at that moment, or more importantly, how you would have reacted. I'd be very interested to hear your thoughts. And if you want to be informed immediately about such geological phenomena, then subscribe to the channel. It's free, you'll never miss a video again, and you'll be helping me out a lot.
If you've subscribed, giving the video a thumbs up really helps. 5,000 likes should appease the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much, everyone. All right, let's dive into the world of volcanology.
Let's take a look at what's happening in Yellowstone right now. And I can already tell you that the scientists there are extremely fascinated. Michael Poland, a geophysicist with the U.S. Geological Survey and chief scientist at the Yellowstone Volcano Observatory, sums it up. Yellowstone is a dynamic geological system. The only constant is change. And this change is not only evident in the geysers that erupt daily or the bubbling mud pots. No, even the ground itself is moving. Scientists call this deformation. That is, the change in the landscape around a volcano caused by magma movement beneath the surface. And Yellowstone sits directly on a volcanic hotspot, an unusually hot area that is believed to be fed by the deep mantle.
To understand what's going on down there, it helps to make a comparison. Imagine you put a pot of water on the stove.
It is heated from below and cooled from above. The hot liquid is less dense, rises, and circulates. This is exactly what happens in the solid earth beneath our feet all the time. This endless bubbling and movement can cause the ground to literally swell and bend.
Hey guys, quick request. YouTube is currently being flooded with hastily thrown together AI content, so-called AI slop. This isn't meant as general AI bashing, but it does make it harder for human creators to stay visible. This video here is not AI slop. It was researched, written, and produced by hand by several people who make their living from this. An editor, a video editor, a marketer, and myself. If content like this matters to you, your subscription helps us tremendously. Every subscription to the channel ensures that we can continue to put time and energy into real, carefully crafted videos. Thank you so much, everyone. And now, let's continue.
These deformations can manifest as uplift or inflation when the pressure beneath the ground increases, or as subsidence or deflation when it decreases. According to Poland, these changes can be triggered by various processes, movements along faults, accumulation or withdrawal of magma or hydrothermal fluids, and even cooling and contraction of underground fluids. And it is precisely this phenomenon that scientists are now observing again, the Norris Uplift Anomaly. Unfortunately, it has nothing to do with Chuck Norris.
You could probably make some good jokes out of Yellowstone and Chuck Norris. Yellowstone only rises because Chuck Norris once took a deep breath there. Alright, that wasn't so funny. If you can think of something better, let me know in the comments.
Between 1996 and 2004, an area along the northern Caldera rim just south of the Norris Geyser Basin rose by a total of about 12 centimeters. This deformation was named the Norris Uplift Anomaly, or NUA for short. Scientists suspect that magma accumulated at a depth of about 14 kilometers. Such activity is probably quite common, but it is only thanks to technological innovation and expanded monitoring networks in recent decades that even such minor changes can be detected. In the past, no one would have noticed this few centimeters of uplift. Today we have GPS stations, satellites, and interferometry technology that can register even minimal movements. From its peak in 2004, the NUA area then subsided again over about a decade, losing more than half of the height it had previously gained. This is not surprising because when magma penetrates the crust, it cools, crystallizes, and releases gases that were previously dissolved in the melt. This gas release lowers the pressure in the magma, causing the surface to sink.
At this point, I'll spare you any jokes about gas release and pressure reduction in the human body. But in 2013, the situation changed again, and this time dramatically. The area began to swell at the highest rate ever recorded in Yellowstone, more than 15 centimeters per year.
This was probably due to trapped gas that was trapped under an impermeable layer of rock. The resulting upward pressure lifted the ground at an unprecedented rate. But of course, this could not continue indefinitely. The end came quickly and dramatically with a 4.9 magnitude earthquake, the strongest in the region since the 1970s. Over the next 20 months, Norris sank again. Presumably, the quake had created micro cracks through which gases could escape back to the surface, causing the subsidence. The ground continued to rise and fall in this manner, albeit to a less impressive extent, until 2020, when Norris seemed to calm down. No more significant changes until now. In July last year, GPS stations near the Yellowstone Caldera began to move again. Not much. By September, the ground was only 2 centimeters higher than before and had shifted horizontally by half that amount. But when scientists checked the interferometry data, it was confirmed.
The uplift pattern was very similar to that from 96 to 2004. The NER was back. And it wasn't just the geological movement. The site also recorded an increase in seismic activity, including a swarm of over 100 earthquakes in an area near the NER, possibly as a response to the stresses caused by the geological movement and the increased pressure. Now, you might be wondering, should we be worried? Is this the beginning of Yellowstone's legendary big one, a devastating supervolcano eruption? And here I can reassure you, the activity currently being observed is indeed remarkable.
But nothing compared to the warning signs we would get if Yellowstone were about to erupt. Before a truly dangerous event occurs, the deformation rates would accelerate dramatically, something that can, of course, be detected immediately by the continuous GPS network. Scientists have Yellowstone under closer surveillance than almost any other volcano in the world. So what we are seeing here is simply another example of the dynamic nature of Yellowstone and shows what we can learn about the properties of the subsurface with a new generation of sensitive monitoring instruments. Dan Zurison, emeritus geologist at the U.S. Geological Survey, summed it up nicely. The difference is that we now have the tools to detect and model Yellowstone's ups and downs better than ever before. For those in the know, this is fantastic, not alarming. And that's really the fascinating thing about this story. We live in a time when, for the first time in human history, we have the ability to precisely measure such subtle geological changes. In the past, a rise of a few centimeters would have gone completely unnoticed. Today, we can use satellites that work with radar interferometry and show us how the Earth is deforming down to the centimeter.
So guys, no need to panic. Yellowstone isn't going to erupt tomorrow, but it does impressively show just how alive our planet is. Beneath our feet, things are constantly bubbling, circulating, and moving, and with modern technology, we can watch this geological spectacle like never before. If you want to stay updated on Yellowstone, don't forget to subscribe to the channel now, and give us a thumbs up so we can hit 5,000 likes. And now, let's stick with exciting discoveries, but switch planets. Back in the 70s, the Soviets sent robots to Mars and captured some incredible images. Spectacular things that hardly anyone knows about today. The Soviet Mars missions are one of the most fascinating and at the same time, one of the most forgotten chapters in space exploration.
If you want to see the original footage of Mars, click on the video in the top right corner. It's very exciting, and if you click on the bottom left corner, you can visit our space shop and stock up on shirts from the videos, real meteorites, and plush planets. Otherwise, I'd say see you in the next video. Take care, folks.